10 p.m. in the studios of UBC TV. Hello there and welcome to News Tonight. First though, let's have a look at our main headlines. In our News Tonight, Uganda Airlines to make maiden flight tomorrow, Tuesday, 27th of August, 2019.
YY Bus Company halts business for one day to access performance.
Also in the world, international leaders at the G8 summit.
And in sports, Uganda still looking for a breakthrough at the All Africa Games.
Hello there and welcome once again on Sign Language. It is Mogalu Mohammed.
I'm Patricia Lukoma.
And I'm Edward Rukidi Kijanagoma, and we'll be starting off with this story, and this from the office of the President. And President Museveni has left for the Japanese city of Yokohama, where to join other heads of to join other African heads of state and government for a 3-day, 7th edition of the Tokyo International Conference for African Development. Now, the President was seen off at Entebbe International Airport by Presidency Minister Esther Mbayo, Head of Public Service John Mitala, Commander of Air Force Lieutenant General Charles Luanga Lutaya, Assistant Inspector General of Police Hassan Kasinji, and the Commissioner General of Prisons Dr. Johnson Byabashaija. TICAD is a summit-level international conference that focuses on the social-economic development of Africa, launched by Japan in 1993. The 6th TICAD summit took place in Nairobi, Kenya in 2016. Meanwhile, the much-anticipated Uganda Airlines maiden flight has been confirmed for this Tuesday and Wednesday, with flights arranged to Nairobi and Juba, respectively. Uganda Airlines Commercial Director Jennifer Bomturaki says these activities will herald the return of the airline to the skies, and she says Uganda Airlines will be known for its on-time flights.
To a traveler. And government has many sections that are booked on this flight, not necessarily parliamentarians alone or whichever other things are being said out there. So for us, it really doesn't matter what people are saying. What really matters is these flying communities, have they tested the product? When they come back, are they able to tell other people that, look, I flew on this flight and the service is on point, and they do the thing, it's international. For me, it's the word that will come out of whoever goes on this flight. Our Tuesday flight is an inaugural flight, which is what we call a farm trip flight. But our commercial flights start on the 28th. We have flights to Nairobi on 28th and Juba. Then we have flights to Mogadishu the next day, Nairobi, and Juba. Then on the third day, which is the 30th, we have Nairobi, Dar es Salaam, and Juba. So our normal schedule will start on the 28th. Ugandan Airlines are known to keep time. That's known. Secondly, as a people, we are hospitable. Someone today teased me and said, oh, you're hospitable to foreigners. No. For us, we will be known for being hospitable to everybody. Be it Ugandan, be it another, nationality. We'll be known for our hospitality. We'll be known for our customer service. We'll be known for our on-time performance. We'll be known for our affordable, value-for-money fares. And yes, our menu will have a Ugandanness to it. But I think what matters is we are able to leave on time, like we said, and bring you back on time.
Jennifer Bomturaki of Uganda Airlines having her stay there in as far as the maiden flight is concerned. And remember that UBC TV will be at Entebbe International Airport and will bring that maiden flight live to you in the comfort of your homes. So do make a date with us. Still on matters pertaining to transport sector in this country. YY Coaches and Courier Services Company has halted operations for one day following a spate of accidents over the past few weeks. At Namaiba bus terminal, passengers were stranded following a 24-hour downtime to resolve the crisis. Now, YY Coaches has been one of Uganda's popular bus transporters plying the eastern and northern routes. We have more in this report.
YY Coaches, a passenger bus plying the eastern and northern routes, has halted business for one day following a spate of accidents over the past weeks. YY Coaches stations at Namaiba bus terminal, where it loads passengers every day. The park's manager explains what it means to maintain a bus courier's reputation in Uganda's transport sector.
For that, we don't check buses or we don't do any mechanical checkup in the park here. But for us, what we do, we always they always write to us application, and we give them a letter which shows that we have approved them. Then they take that letter to Ministry of Works. Then it's Ministry of Works to check their buses, and they give us the what? They give us back the letters to show that this bus is in a good condition and they are qualified to operate.
The poor working conditions of bus operators seem to contribute to the deteriorating quality of service.
Most of the drivers, they have complained about low salary. Most of them, they complain about that. You find yourself a driver drives a bus from here to Mbale, and that very driver has to bring it back where? To Kampala, and is being paid 30 to 50,000.
On average, every YY bus makes at least 2 trips a day. There are about 50 courier buses. Passengers intending to travel the east and northern routes were inconvenienced as the pressure builds on the few available couriers.
Right now we have like only one bus company which is taking people, and of which they have run out of buses, that's Kakise Bus Services, and actually with Gateway. But right now passengers are there are no buses. But tomorrow, buses will be there. They will resume working tomorrow.
To maintain a bus courier's reputation, the company must ensure that it delivers the promises it makes to its clients. And that goes without saying, ensuring that it avoids road traffic accidents. Now, as you can see behind me, YY Coaches haven't worked today because they are attending a general meeting to address the issue at hand. Much as they've lost business today, this is deemed as a step in the right direction. Reporting for UBC Business, Wadulo Mark Arnold.
Thanks, Mark, for that report there. Now to the courts of law, where the Commercial Court has dismissed a multi-billion commercial suit against Sudhir Ruparelia and Mera Investments, with Justice David Wangututsi ruling that Crane Bank in receivership has no legal basis to sue. Now, the court further condemned Bank of Uganda to costs that Dr. Ruparelia had spent in prosecuting this lawsuit on grounds that it's the one that lodged the suit on behalf of non-operational Crane Bank. Now, the lawyers of Crane Bank had accused Sudhir Ruparelia of taking 397 billion shillings out of the financial institution in fraudulent transactions and land title transfers. However, the businessman argued that when Crane Bank went into receivership, it lost its powers to sue and to be sued, rendering its suit against him and Mera Investments Company a nullity. Now, on Wednesday this week, bishops will converge at Namirembe Cathedral to elect the 9th Archbishop of the Church of Uganda. Now, contrary to the Church of Uganda constitutional requirement, His Grace Stanley Ntagali has served for 7 years instead of the mandatory 10. Now, the Provincial Secretary, Reverend Canon Captain William Ongeng, issued a statement indicating that His Grace Ntagali was elected and enthroned on the 18th of December 2012 at the age of 57. He will be 65 years on the 1st of March 2020, a mandatory age for retirement for an archbishop in the Church of Uganda. As a requirement to be elected an archbishop, one must be a bishop in the Church of Uganda and has attained 50 years. The Church of Uganda currently has 37 diocesan bishops, but only 33 are eligible to become archbishops. 4 may be below 50 years or nearing 65. Now, tomorrow we shall profile the personalities who served as archbishops, from the first missionary archbishop to the outgoing. And moving on with our news, former Naguru Nakawa housing estate tenants want to meet with President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni over compensation. Now, the tenants claim all responsible government authorities have failed to compensate them since they were forcefully evicted 8 years ago. Let's get more in this report.
This is part of 162 acres of land where the former Naguru Nakawa housing estates were built. Over 1,700 tenants were evicted from the land in 2011 to pave way for a bigger and a better project by government. 8 years later, no development has ever taken place as the evictees claim they have never been compensated.
Time has gone. It's now 8 years. Houses are not on ground. People have not been compensated. We've written correspondences to the minister, to the president, to the prime minister, and no one is responding to us. We have even made petitions to parliament. And up to now, even our issue has never been addressed. We are so touched. It's really painful. Some of our people have passed on. Our parents have passed on. When you look at the people who are still around, they're coming from all over the country. And there is no update. What is the government up to? What is it really trying to hide? We are seeing this, they talked about compensation. When you look at this year's budget, we are not even reflected anywhere.
During a meeting over the weekend, former tenants planned to storm State House to meet President Museveni.
Those who are ready, by 7 exactly, we are down to Southern Gate. They will ask us, somebody called last year that the president has invited us. They will begin to people are very good there. These people of NRA. And you remain there, they cannot beat you. So long as you know what you want, the message will reach the president. They will communicate. The president, you know that the old will say, the former tenants were here. We insist, we have to see the president. They will send somebody. The president will go with our president. What else are they saying? You are so gentle. But I want to tell you, if we get our civil stars, the message will reach the president.
We are now left with very few options, and one of them is to find a way of reaching him so that cabinet position can be revisited. We think him as the author. We think him as the fountain of honor. He has capacity and he has goodwill towards compensation aspects.
The decision was made after an alleged decision by cabinet to pay a token of about 17 million to each tenant than the 240 million shillings earlier on agreed upon.
But this time the pay is not compensation, they call it ex gratia. Ex gratia means you are giving somebody something in a way of thanking the person. So, in our view, we are now being put off the rightful channel of pursuing matters because ex gratia is very little money. We still insist that we have our proprietorship rights based on the earlier contract we signed with the government.
But the decision for the planned action remains undisclosed. For UBC TV News, I am Philip Aguta.
And to some rather sad news, where Uganda Broadcasting Corporation staff Lydia Kisache has been laid to rest at her ancestral home in Nkonge, Wabulenzi. Now, the manager of Star TV, Ibrahim Mugwanya, described the deceased as a talented personality in broadcasting. Lydia died of heart failure, as we hear in this report.
Mourners gathered at Tweyanze village in Wabulenzi Rural district to bid farewell to fallen journalist and renowned TV presenter Lydia Kisache. Kisache died yesterday of heart failure as she was being rushed to Mulago Hospital. At her parents' home was a requiem mass organized for the repose of her soul. Mourners from all walks of life said Lydia had died in Christ. Severi Hakim, who represented the Minister of State for Higher Education, John Chrysostom Moyengo, said Lydia Chisachi's ideas helped in development of Bamunanika. Speakers energized Lydia, who was calm, had a welcoming personality and was approachable. Lydia Chisache had a talented voice and will be remembered for training a number of journalists in news anchoring. The manager, Star TV Ibrahim Mugwanya, described the deceased as an obedient person. Lydia was laid to rest at her ancestral home in Konge Wobulenzi. I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
Very sad indeed, and may the soul of Lydia Chisache rest in eternal bliss. And it's from that story that we'll be taking a short break. But Patricia Lukoma will be returning with what's happening in the world of business, international news, and sports. Stay with us.
Every dream has a challenging journey. Ours began in 1998. With a mission to drive the development of a robust communications sector in Uganda, we created structures to champion the dream. We've evolved, made discoveries, supported great minds, empowered Ugandans, and fostered a vibrant culture, enabling communication for all. Down the years, we've created memories and networks, uniting generations and building great partnerships. Together, we can go even further. UCC, celebrating 20 years of achievements.
Have you completed Senior 4 or Senior 6 and you want to do a 2-year certificate or a diploma course? Makerere Institute for Social Development, an affiliate to Makerere Business School, offers programs in accounting and finance, business administration, procurement and supplies management, social work and social administration, information technology, counseling and guidance, human resource, project planning and management, journalism, secretarial studies, and many others. We are located on Sa Apollo Kegwa Road, next to Oilcom Petrol Station, with a UBTEP Center number.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pain Arena. Introducing on the right corner, Mr. Action, the reigning heavyweight champion in the ring against
the Headache, the #1 contender. And the bell rings.
Headache charges forward with a steady right and a left hook. Action dodges. He misses out with an inch. Wait a minute. Mr. Action launches back with a kick. The final blow. He is out.
If symptoms persist, seek medical advice. Welcome to the first ever Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum and Exhibition taking place on the 4th and the 5th of September 2019 at the Julius Nyerere International Convention Center in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Come and explore new business and investment opportunities. Come and participate in open plenary discussions on finance, bilateral trade, infrastructure, extractives, and their challenges before the heads of state, government ministers, and policy makers, as well as showcasing your products and services at the Business Exhibition. Registration is now open. Log on to www.businessforum.biz today and register to participate in the 2019 Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum. Call us on 752-470-214 Uganda, and for Tanzania 784-323-068. The Uganda-Tanzania Business Forum is organized by and is proudly sponsored by. Forget the long line hassle. With 1xBet, the power of placing the perfect bet is at your fingertips. Bet anytime from anywhere. Best of all, payment is instant. Place your bet on whatever you choose. Virtual games, bet games, sports, and even live betting. Winning has never been this simple. Bet with 1xBet. Advanced gaming is regulated by the Lotteries and Gaming Regulatory Board. Betting is addictive and can be psychologically harmful, and it's only eligible to persons above 18 years of age.
Welcome back. My name is Patricia Lokoma, and I'm still with Mugalu Mohammed there on sign language. Let us mean business in this business segment. Starting off with South Sudan is urging the East African community partner countries to support in its efforts geared toward stopping the infiltration of fake products into the country. Now, being a young nation and the most of the public institutions currently at an infancy stage, the country has become an easy target for unscrupulous business people from within the region and globally. Dennis Sigoa has more.
Being the newest member of the East African community, South Sudan wants its peers in the region to curb the influx of fake and substandard products into the country.
Because South Sudan was a new nation, and it was a country that still in its struggle, trying to find its way out and find its roots. That's the advantage was taken off, because a lot of traders thought nobody will ever know. So when we struggled to form the National Bureau of Standards, the first thing that faces us was the substandard goods. In terms of foods, in terms of anything you can think of, including furnitures. We get a furnitures that only lasts you for 6 months.
Being a landlocked country, South Sudan depends on ports of Mombasa and Dar es Salaam. Some of the leading imports include electronics, foods, furniture, and cosmetics.
And being a member of the EAC has actually made us come as a part of the family. And through that, we signed the MOUs with Uganda, with Rwanda, with Tanzania, with Kenya, and as well as Sudan. Because what happened is, by aligning with them and signing with them, now we are closing the door for those traders who are bringing in the bad goods. So really, it become a partnership. Even for me, I went to Mombasa, and I've seen how the goods are being counterfeiting in the borders, in the Mombasa itself.
By setting up a modern testing service and laboratory in the capital, Juba, the Bureau of Standards is determined to make a big difference in the area of curbing fake, substandard and expired products. The setup of the ultra-modern testing facility is funded by Government of South Sudan and Trademark East Africa, a development partner.
Do you test here as well, like the mineral water?
Oh, yes.
Yeah? Would that be tested?
Yes, very much.
Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
As we cross a little bit into Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya has flagged off the inaugural shipment of Kenya's crude oil. The country is exporting 200,000 barrels of the Turkana crude oil, marking its entry into the League of Oil Exporting Countries. Now, the small-scale export is intended to test the international markets, a reception of Kenya's low sulfur oil ahead of the commercial production, which is estimated to start in the second half of 2023.
To participate more fully in the regional and global maritime transport value chains. And this, I believe, will create more than 50,000 new jobs in the medium term and make our imports cheaper and our exports that much more competitive. Further, Through the Mediterranean Shipping Company, the Kenya National Shipping Line will gain access to more than 500 ports across the world. This will enable us to ship our oil and other exports through our national carrier and to get many, many more of our young people working in the maritime industry.
It's time for us to see what's happening with the financial markets. And of course, let us start with the Forex, where the shilling should be really faring against the greenback there. Okay, that's the Forex rates. Quickly, let us look at what's happening, the pricing on the Uganda Securities Exchange, and see how the counters are performing, the losers and the winners. The FCU there traded shares 1,506 shares. And of course, those were the shares that exchanged hands there. You can see that the financial institutions really had a bit of activity there happening. Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited also trading at 28.20 shillings. They managed to exchange hands by 28,000 shares. Now quickly onto the general performance, the Uganda Securities Exchange performance. The general turnover was 1.77 million Ugandan shillings. The all share index there stood at 1,593. The local share index didn't change much. We're going to take a very short break and then return with our international news. On the international scene, international leaders gathering at the G7 summit are reportedly nearing an agreement to help fight fires in the Amazon rainforest. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Sunday that a deal to provide technical and financial help was close. Leaders from the US, Japan, Germany, France, Italy, and the UK plus Canada continue their meeting in the seaside town. It comes amidst international tension over record fires burning in Brazil. Critics have accused Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro of green lighting the Amazon's destruction through anti-environmental rhetoric, the severity of the fires, and his government's response has prompted global outcry. Hong Kong police officer fired a gunshot during protests on Sunday, the first time a live round has been used since demonstrations broke out in June. Images show several other officers also pointed guns at protesters who were charging at them with sticks and poles. In another fight, police deployed water cannon against protesters earlier in the day. Well, that's it. That's all we had time for on the international scene. We're going to take another short break and return with our sports news. Now in sports, Uganda hasn't stopped its pursuit for medals at the All-Africa Games that have entered the second and final week in Morocco, as we hear in this report.
As Ugandan athletes continue to eye success at the 12th edition of the All-Africa Games in Morocco, weightlifters have entered the fray. In the 55 kilograms category, Davis Niyoita, who is making his second appearance on the international scene, registered a new personal best of 175. Sadly for Niyoita, who showed vast improvements from his last outing in the qualifiers in Kenya, he misses out on the medal bracket at the Games, where countries have showed vast improvement.
Obedient, I'm so concerned of everything that I've done today. I'm so embarrassed that I haven't made what I did in Nairobi to Morocco, but I'm so promising. I think next time I'll be able to pursue everything that I'll be pushing harder and harder.
This evening, a coach player Mbaraga Chivumbi starts his pursuit in 61 kilograms, as will Hakim Semba. Uganda's title hopeful in the 96 kilogram category, Zubairi Kubo, continues his readiness ahead of his fight date on Thursday.
Mwenda njagala abantu basuubire teggwanga lyaffe tulina odisitula waggulu bendera yaffe erina okubanga yeewubira mu bbanga twagala tuleeta nze njagala kuleeta gold medal inshallah.
The weightlifting qualification process for the Olympics changed from medals to accumulation of points, thus meaning Ugandans must up their ante to qualify. In chess, Harold Wanyama and Arthur Segwanyi have been impressive, while handball contests a quarter-final game against one of Africa's best, Angola. Uganda's biggest source of medals at any major meet, athletics and boxing, which is at a critical stage, are in action later today. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
All Africa Games as we turn into our very own kingdom. Airtel Masazagaba Uganda have entered the quarter-final stage with 4 games played over the weekend. Our reporter has more.
Masaka was a beehive of activity as fans thronged the streets ahead of a Masazagaba Uganda football quarter-final tie between hosts Budu and Butambala at the Masaka Recreation Ground. Before start, Budu sought a divine intervention, which rightly worked for them because they registered a 3-1 first leg victory. Goals by Kasule Ibrahim, Marvin Kavma and Raymond Walugembe were enough to hand Budu the 2-goal buffer ahead of next weekend's return leg.
It is only the tactics I've used to see that I take the 3 points. What I'm going to do is to correct the mistakes which has been in the game, today's game, together with my players, so that we do the revision in order to see that we go to semi-finals.
Butambala that came into this game still unbeaten and managed to score through Bruce Karibara. All hope isn't lost despite cries of foul play by the referee.
Why situation is very poor, but they have their own teams. So I can't comment about the referees because I'm not taking command. But you have seen what has happened, that is.
So that's why you have lost the game?
That is, you have seen the full game.
So what do you expect to do in the next match so that you can knock out?
Just to score goals as you have seen. We have lost 3-1, so we can make it also. We can score 4 or 3-0.
In other quarter-final first leg games played, Chadondo beat Singo 2-1. Busiro defeated Sise 2-1 and Chagwe and Bulemezi ended scoreless. The teams contest the quarter-final second leg this weekend with Singo, Busiro, Bulemezi and Butambala playing at home. Story compiled by Bruno Mubangizi.
Now about the East African Games, Uganda teams that participated in the East African Secondary School Games returned safely to Uganda. Overall, Uganda won the football, netball and basketball crown to be ranked the best team in the region, as we hear in this report.
Ugandan teams competing at the just concluded East Africa Secondary School Games have been accorded a heroic welcome. St. Noah Girls School won her first East African basketball trophy against St. Mary's Chitende in a classic final tie. St. Mary's Chitende, on the other hand, won the prestigious football trophy as well as the netball competition. Boda riders led the victory parade to welcome St. Mary's Chitende along the streets of Zana before heading to the main campus in Chitende. Upon return, players manifested how tough it was to win giants from different East African teams.
Our team, we had teamwork, we were disciplined, we were cooperative, and we were communicating everything we're doing. We were time managers.
It was not easy, as you know, for us to win that East African Championship, but it was because of the hard work that we had to put in, the struggle we had the aim, we had the determination to win that trophy, because for all the years I played basketball, I had never won such a trophy at that level.
The girls to what? To work hard. We used to go there and come here and work the whole evening.
This was the second time Chitende won the East African football crown, the first being in Nairobi in 2014. Chitende's success in football is attributed to having won the nationals in the Coca-Cola Championship in Jinja earlier this year.
Ebibaddewo tusobodde okuwangulako ebikopo kati 13 ate ku bawala nga tusobodde okuwangula ebikopo 16-17. Nsuubira nti okupulaninga obulungi n'okuinvestinga mu sports kituyambye okuba nti tusobodde okuba nga tusobola okukungula mwaka ku mwaka.
Meanwhile, the 2019 Under-17 Airtel Rising Star Regional Qualifiers successfully climaxed at Masindi Main Stadium. Two regions, including Chitara and Western, were combined 4 as the qualifiers came to an end. In the Chitara region, Chiriandongo's Erima Soccer Academy and Fort Portal's Toro Queens won the boys and girls qualifiers respectively. Erima Soccer Academy overcame Kabalega Secondary School to win the Airtel Rising Star competitions. Look at identifying talent before they are taken up by different big clubs as well as the national team. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBS TV.
Well, that does bring us to the very end of News Tonight at 10. Thank you so much for being a part of us. Kija, before we sign out, tomorrow, maiden flight, Uganda Airlines.
Oh, yes.
What's your take? In my view, she talked about being on time, timekeepers. But then the issue is, are the services viable?
And I think, Patricia, as you ably put it, I think we should be looking at the services on board those planes. But also one other thing that I should really put out is that, one of the reasons why we have not had a national carrier all this time is because of what happened before. And I think we must implore Ugandan, government officials not to take advantage of what we are starting tomorrow.
Free services?
Free services.
Okay.
I don't think that should be happening, because it is one of the reasons why, in fact, they had,
to collapse.
Exactly, why it had to collapse at that time. So I think these people, they have the money to pay for their tickets, so they should not really look at Uganda Airlines as a plane for them to be, flying for free. They should be paying so that this airline can make
survive.
Money.
Kija has said it all. Let's have the trick up on our headlines.
Yes.
Uganda Airlines to make maiden flight tomorrow, Tuesday, August 27th, 2019.
YY Bus Company holds business for one day to assess performance.
The senior international leaders at the G7 summit nearing an agreement to help fight fires.
And in sports, Uganda still looking for a breakthrough at the All Africa Games. Patricia, of course, it's been a pleasure having you on board, and we do thank you who has been there right from the hour of 10 up to this time. Thank you so much for having kept us company. Our bulletin comes to the end at this time, but on sign language, it has been Mugalu Mohammed, and I am Edward Rukidi Kijanangoma.
For now, I'm Patricia Lukoba. For now, we'll leave you with the forecast.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.